You can imagine yourself sitting in that peaceful place by yourself. Maybe it's a seaside. Sometimes people go and sit on the seaside, or wherever you feel comfortable, and just looking outside the calm ocean. We hear noises around us, but it doesn't bother us. We feel safe. We're surrounded by all the friends around us. So even if you need to move some point, feel free to. No one's gonna notice. Then we start giving kindness to our bodies. All the different parts of our body needs kindness. We can start from the tiniest of the toes in our left leg. Can you imagine what the toe, the small toe on your left foot feels like? What does it look like in your mind's eye? Is there any feeling there? Can you feel warmth, pressure from the sitting on the ground, or something? And give kindness, really, as if you were looking your friend, that little toe in your left foot. And then move to the next toe, next to the little pinky toe. The same thing, just imagine what it looks like. What is the feeling there? Look at with kindness. And the middle toe. And don't go rushing too far. Perhaps you know what's coming next, but that's not the point. The point is give your all attention you have to the middle toe in your left foot, and give it kindness, relaxation. Let it relax. And then the toe next to the big toe there, which I don't know the name, but you know what it is. And the big toe. And relax all the toes on your left foot. And the same, your whole foot, the left foot, relax, give it kindness, relax. Feel if there's pressure, warmth underneath your ankle on your left foot. Look at whether it kindly and move up towards your knee on your left leg and let it relax. Relax. keep moving up to the pelvis. Feel the pelvis bone inside of you. Make sure the whole pelvic region is nice and soft and gentle. Give it kindness. Even feel the bone inside of you sitting on the cushion. And then move down on your right leg in your calf, all the way to the ankle, and you can imagine the right leg relaxing all the way to the ankle from the hip bone. And all the way to the toes again from the ankle on your right leg. Let your right leg relax with kindness. Relax. And hopefully your body below your pelvis starts to take care of itself. And then move your attention to your stomach. How often we feel tension in our tummies. Just let the breath go in and out of your tummy. Let it relax you every breath you take, and every breath that goes out, any pressure goes out. And then you move your attention to your lower back. Make sure your lower back is just soft and gentle. However it wants to curve, let it curve. Let your lower back and middle back be relaxed. Relax. And your shoulders. You've been carrying all the weight on your shoulders all day. Make sure your shoulders are soft. Your right shoulder is sinking down from the weight of the right hand. It's pulling it down, pulling it down. Let your right shoulder relax. And the same with your left shoulder, let it relax. Relax with kindness. And both of your shoulders should be nice and soft. And then going down from the left shoulder, your left hand should be resting on your lap with ease. Let it pull down your left shoulder. All the way, look at it kindly into the fingers in your left hand. And both hands are resting on your lap. And when you look at those fingers, there's all kind of feelings there. Make sure they're all nice and soft, like a little baby's hands. That both of your fingers in your hands are cupping softly. Let them relax with kindness. But do pay attention to them. Pay interest, what it feels. In your fingers. Then moving up to the right hand, and make sure your right hand is completely soft. Pulling down and relaxing the right shoulder even more. And just above the shoulders you have your neck. Oh, how often our necks are stiff. Let your neck be kind. Be kind actively towards your neck. However your neck wants to be, let it relax. Look at it with kind eyes. It's your friend. Let your neck relax. And hopefully your whole body below the neck starts feeling like it's floating in a warm, salty water. It's taking care of itself. And then we pay attention to our face. Look at your face, your expression with kindness. How does your face feel like? What does it feel to be feeling kind and good in your face? Imagine what it feels when somebody who really takes care of you, like your mother or grandmother, whoever, when they look at you in the face. How does it feel? How does your muscles feel when you feel kind? And let your face relax into kindness. Relax, relax. And hopefully your whole body feels nice and kind and soft. And then when the body is nice and relaxed and soft, can you feel it, how it's breathing in and breathing out softly? wherever that breath appears, wherever that movement is, it's not one point in the beginning, but there's soft moving around somewhere. That breath is beautiful. You look at that breath like it's not yours. That breath was already there where you're in the mother's tummy. That breath was your mother's breath. And it's nice and soft and gentle. And when you look at it with kindness, it's so beautiful. For a few more moments, really give kindness to that beautiful breath. Wherever it appears, whether it's in front of you or in the body sometimes, really smile at it. That's your friend. the mind wanders a little bit, so remember that you are looking your friend. Where is your friend again? And we are starting to come back. We are moving attention back to the body for a while. Can you feel your body? How nice it feels when it's relaxed and it takes care of itself. Can you feel how the body is healthy when you let it be? And now, feel again what it feels in your mind. Is there a little bit more quietness in your mind than in what you had before you got here? Is there a little bit of kindness in your mind which you forgot to apply? Can you feel how nice it is to sit for a while, just to relax? And then I will ring the bell for 3 times and listen. All those 3 rings before you open your eyes and come back to the world. Very good. Okay, so that was a little bit longer than expected. That was half an hour. Sorry about that.
It's a good sit,
Supposed to be 10 minutes. Okay, well, that was not a good start, perhaps, with that schedule.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Okay, good. So do I push something? Go back and forth. Okay, cool. Was somebody going to have some announcements?
Yes.
Oh, Eileen. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn. We'll make the announcements at the end. So we'll like to request for the 3 refuges and 5 precepts first, Ajahn.
Very good.
I think everyone is here already. Okay.
Are you going to request it?
Not the Pali, we just request in English.
Oh, you don't do that. Oh, we
Yeah.
just go to number. Oh, I was waiting for you to do a request. Ah,
Namo
right.
Tassa.
Okay. Sorry, my bad. I was waiting for something else to happen.
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do Namo Tassa. Or you start with Arahang, so I wouldn't even do Namo Tassa.
We start with Namo Tassa. Repeat
Okay.
after Ajahn.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. You went too far now. Namo Tassa first. Am I seeing a different slide?
Yes.
One before that. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang
After Ajahn,
gacchami.
please.
Sorry?
No. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
What did I do wrong?
After Ajahn.
Ah.
We repeat after Ajahn.
Oh, sorry,
not
okay.
Together with
Oh, right,
Ajahn.
right, okay. Dhammaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dhammaṃ saranang gacchami.
Sanghaṃ saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tisaranagamana nititaṃ.
Amma bante.
Well done. Okay, so now we do. I believe you want to take a precepts, even though you didn't request, but
Yes.
I believe you.
Requested in English,
Okay,
Bante.
yeah, good enough. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kame sumiccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Sura meraya maccapamaratthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Sura meraya majja pamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Oh yeah, okay, so well done of you. It's good that you take the precepts and keeping the keeping the sila, keep doing good things, it leads into your happiness. And then you can say, yes, Bhante.
Amma Bhante.
Ah, well done of you. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Okay, so let's do it episode. So these are the qualities of the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vicacharana sampanno sukato lokavidu anuttaro purissa dhammasarati Sata deva manusana buddho bhagavati swakahato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko Opanaiko pachatam veditabo vinyuhiti supatipanno bhagavato sawaka sangho Uchupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapadipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipadipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidan Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pukala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Bhahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttaram Punyaketa Lokasati. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, not busy with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let none do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be happy, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be happy. Let none deceive another or despise in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with the boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to false views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Right. Okay, Dhamma talk. I think 1 hour is a bit too much. I thought I was asked perhaps 1 hour, but I think it's a bit too much. Everybody's going to fall asleep, so maybe do
anytime you can.
We'll see how it.
Yeah,
maybe half an hour, then we go to Q&A. Some time ago, I gave a 4-hour talk at the monastery, and that was a little bit too much. I was tired and the people were tired, so that's not the point of Dhamma talks. The other people who stayed there told me that, like, okay, Bhante, you probably had you put a lot of effort, but so did we, so. So I can talk, no problem, but that's not the point of just giving a long talks. I know in some traditions, monks actually give talks which are 8-9 hours, sometimes even longer. I think that doesn't serve the purpose. Anyway, so it's nice to see. It's nice to be in Singapore. It's actually my first talk here in Singapore. I never really taught here. I teach mainly. I've been teaching here in the monastery in Melbourne. I've been now based in Melbourne. I'm from Ajahn Brahm's monastery from Perth. Some of you have been there. We have the retreat center, Jhana Grove there, our monastery, Bodhinyana. But now we're building a new center in Melbourne, and there's a Buddhist Society of Victoria purchased this monastery 9 years ago, and I've been going there back and forth from Perth. I used to be in the construction, so I know a little bit of construction, so I've been sort of supervising the project there. We first did, it's a good place because they started with, it was a bed and breakfast. So it was easy to move in, then you don't have to change the title, all those things. It's, you know, in Singapore, how difficult it is to change the titles, all kind of things. If you have a building, it has a certain purpose. So it was easy to move, and we had a lot of accommodation there. So now, what we did first move was we're separating the communities in three. We have nun side in the bottom, we have a retreat center in the middle, same like Jhana Grove Retreat Center, and then we have the monks on the top. So first we built the monk side. We built kutis there, huts for the monks. We built the main hall, building where we have our offices and where we go on laundry and breakfast. And now we're building a retreat center. Hopefully it's coming to an end because I'm going to end with this retreat center. We're 9 months behind the schedule, and it's difficult to build in Australia at the moment. But we do what we do, and I'm hoping within a few months we'll be done. Then I'm going to go back to Perth again. I'm done in building. But that being said, I recently met Ajahn Brahmali in Melbourne. He just came to teach there like a month ago. I met him. We're passing by. He was there for a couple of weeks, and he said, "Oh, Mudito, please come back to Perth." I said, "Oh, Ajahn Brahmali, you missed me, right?" It's like, no, we actually started to build there again. So, right. So I seem to be the building monk now. I don't know how that fell on me, but I guess that sort of ties into the topic I was supposed to give. The topic Eiling asked, what do you want to talk about? And I just like, well, I don't know. And it's like, look, I can talk about anything. But what happened, I was just recently, when you sent me the email, I just listened to this interview from this really smart lady. She's, her name is Ginny Romero, something like that. I'm not sure I told her last name correctly, but she was a CEO for IBM for a long time. And it's really hard, we don't have a lot of ladies who are really in a top position in these big companies. IBM has been around for a long time, and she was the CEO. She was there for a long, long time, and she ended up there being really the leader. And on that interview, the interviewer asked, how did you feel when you are landed in that spot, and you look around and you have all these smart people around you, and very qualified people in IBM? You always get the best of the best in these big companies. And how did you feel? Did you feel unsure about yourself? Like, what was your feeling? And she said, look, I looked around and I thought, if not me, then who? Who's going to do it? There's a lot of things in life which we can think in a sense that, if not me, then who? I'm not the best building supervisor, perhaps. But then I look around and I look all the monks and I look, if not me, then who? Perhaps there's somebody who's more qualified, perhaps not. I'm pretty good at it. I'm very, very meticulous the way I do, and I actually do know, and I put enough effort now learning the building code, and I know what I'm doing. I grew up with the construction. My father has had a construction company. My brothers now took over that. So I've been, since I was young, in the construction sites. I almost grew up. I remember I was just in Finland. I'm now going back to Melbourne. I was asked to stop here since I'm coming back and give these talks. And I remember we were just driving with mom and dad in our village. I come from really remote place. Like, there's just farms here and there. There's no even like a village. There's no village center. And we were driving around, and I remember my father pointed out, like, oh, I remember I did that building. It's a silage. It's a grain silage for this one farmer. It's just a farm there, and it's where you dry the silage. You dry the grain. And I remember when my father was building that, I was just very, very tiny. It's one of those where, like, they didn't have anywhere to put us in a daycare. So I was just running around there. And I remember my father was building it, and it must have been at least, I'm 44 now, so it could be 40 years ago. It could be 39, 38, but I think it's something like 40 years ago. And I remember, because they didn't have place for us to daycare. So like I said, I grew up in a construction site, basically, but in the farm. So I have that skill, and I know how to talk to tradespeople and all those things. But going back to the topic, there's a lot of things in life where we can say, yeah, sure, there might be a lot more people who are more skilled than us. But where are they? They're doing something else. If it's not you, then who? If there's nothing really holding us back to become leaders of the Buddhist society here, to become volunteers, to even raise up even if you think about your career, the limiting factor quite often for us is ourselves. And the one good thing about starting to be more mindful and start meditating, we start seeing those limiting factors. And then we can start putting in the causes. If we think, I can do this, and even if you don't think, I might be the best person for this, just think, if not me, then who? If I don't volunteer in the Buddhist society here, then who's going to volunteer? Even in your own work life, if there is a position and you say, oh, I'm not sure if I should apply. But if not you, then who? Societies are made of just normal people. We all have place in a society, whether it's the Buddhist society here or society big in Singapore. We all have a place. It's not more or less. It's not one job is more important than others. It's important to clean the toilets, but it's also important to lead from the top down with the others. We cannot just be all cleaners. That doesn't work either. Somebody has to give the talks, and it just happened to be me now. I'm not the best talker, honestly, but I'm looking around, well, if not me, then who's going to give this talk? Oh, I have to do it. It's not like I want to do this talk. I'd rather just be in that room, meditate, be by myself, but I have to do it. And quite often, honestly, for us monks, you do the best of your abilities. You have this almost like responsible. You have responsibilities because people take care of us. So I feel personally, a lot of us feel, as monks feel, that we need to give. Because Buddha set up this system so that there is this dual, it's not dual sangha, but it's a dual community. So we have you as lay people and have the monks and nuns. Now we are very lucky. We have the nuns, like in Newbury, I live in a monastery. We have the nuns there. We have the nuns community. So we have dual sangha, and that's how the Buddha set it up. And for us sangha, you feed us, you give us the clothes, you give us a place to live. We need to teach. That's how the Buddha set it up. And for you, as a layperson, you need to do your own part of this. And I think one big thing for being a Buddhist is to practice, to grow in wisdom. And then what did Buddha say about wisdom? What did Buddha say about really the spiritual growth? In Buddhism, what is wisdom? Wisdom is not something you need to know technical details about Dhamma. Sure, they come, and quite often, honestly, I feel longer and longer I'm in this path, and longer I'm as a monastic, I feel that a lot of those things just click in place quite automatically. It's very nice to see actually the teachings work. So it's nice to study that, obviously, but the study comes from inspiration. And what is the starting point really for this path is inspiration. So your growth, how you grow in wisdom, really the starting point is inspiration. And the wisdom really is kindness. If you're not kind, then who? If you don't take care of yourself, who will do it for you? It's not your partner. It might be in the beginning, but wait, after 10 years, 20 years, you live together, but you are both going sort of different directions or same direction, but it's sort of like it changes from the beginning. It's in the beginning, sure, there is a lot of attraction and all that, but after that, you need to remember, I have to live my own life. If I don't take care of myself, then who? Even Buddha's, when Buddha was on his deathbed, the Buddha said, be an island to yourself. You need to do your own practice. There won't be anybody doing this work for you. There's nobody else who can make this growth happen. Sure, the inspiration has to come from somewhere. And hopefully it comes from the Sangha. hopefully it comes from the right place, and hopefully you get the idea that the growth in this is kindness. The wisdom in Buddhism really is kindness. When you're growing in kindness, you're growing in Buddhist ways. I have one of my fellow monks, the Ajahn Mudito, who's the leader of the Newbury Monastery where I'm now residing. He said it quite nicely. I was with him. We have a city center in Melbourne. He was teaching about metta. We teach a lot about metta because it's one of the really key principles of Buddhism. Loving kindness, kindness if you translate it, or sometimes I've seen it now translated as love. He said, if you don't have money in the bank, you cannot give. It makes sense, right? If you don't have money in the bank, you cannot give to others. What happens if you give when you don't have money? You go into debt. You start owning money. You owe money. You owe to yourself if you keep giving. You have to have money first in your own account. And then from there, the giving is automatic. It happens. The more money you have there in your own loving kindness bank account, it flows out very naturally. The more you take care of yourself spiritually, the more money you have in the bank. So make sure you have money in the bank. Don't just concentrate. This is all your mothers out there. Don't just concentrate on your family, your children, your hubby, all those things. Make sure you have money for yourself as well. Quite often what happens, especially for the ladies, you tend to concentrate too much on the family. Right? I think it happens. And I guess here in Asian culture as well, that as a children you tend to see how the family goes, all that. Make sure you take care of yourself. If not you, then who? Right? Don't go into debt. How do you apply these teachings so you have money coming into your bank? Everywhere you see in your mind, whether it's the tiniest little doubt, I can't do this. Whether it's the really big things, anger, ill will, all those things, you always have to apply acceptance, kindness, all those things. The best thing is what Ajahn Brahm always teaches, where it comes from the Buddha actually, is to let it go. Just don't hold on to it. That's the first thing. That's the best thing what the Buddha taught. There's different levels of this, of how do you let your mind calm, how do you allow the kindness to grow in you. Best thing is not to bite into it. That's the first, that's the highest level of what you should be doing, but it's difficult. I drive me nuts with Ajahn Brahm. I'm telling you, I lived through a long time. I asked him in the beginning, what should I do? Surely there's something to do. No, just don't do anything. Go crazy with them. Please give me instructions. Surely there must be something I could do. No, just don't do anything. It has taken me a long time to understand what he means by that. It comes from the Buddhist teachings of how to, it comes from the, I think it's the 7th factor of the Eightfold Path, but it's no, it's perhaps 6. The right effort. And it's the best thing for you to do is not to hold into anything. Don't believe you're thinking too much. We value our thinking too much. We believe our own stories. If you go later on what the Buddha said about how to calm your mind, later on, one of the worst things, now there's 5 steps, and the 4th one is actually go into the root causes. Quite often, this is what you do. Quite often, most people, including me obviously, you go into the root, oh, this is why I'm like this. You're always going in to see the reasons. Where does this hatred come from? Why am I always unsure, insecure? You are relying too much on your thinking. But that is a way to do it, sure. And that's how most people do it. But the best way, what Ajahn Brahm teaches, what the Buddha said, the highest way is don't even bother. Don't do anything. Ayo, I have to do something. Then surely there's... No, don't. The best thing is don't believe that story. You are making up things. Honestly, don't trust your thinking too much. Second level, because you cannot do that. You cannot do anything. Otherwise, if I tell you this, you're going to be complaining. Surely there must be something. Okay, the second best, apply loving kindness. And then the mind becomes quiet. That's the second best. You're actively doing something. You are changing your perception. You're changing how you look at things. All these things come to your mind. At least you are applying something better on changing it. If you are just holding on to things, I'm always disappointed. I'm always angry at the world. I feel my life is not fulfilled. If you're holding on those things, if you're not able to just not believe it and let it go, then apply kindness. Every little minute thing in your mind, whenever the doubt creeps in, whenever you feel you're walking towards the place where it's not happy. The Buddhist path, which I think we don't teach enough, is an eightfold path which leads to happiness. This is a path which should be happy path. Sure, basic teaching of Buddhism is dukkha, right? Everything is suffering. I get so much grief when I go to Finland from my aunties and uncles. Like, they're making fun of me almost like, oh, you're the Buddhist. Oh, you're the one who believes in suffering, right? I say, yeah. That's us. We believe in suffering. Basic teaching of the Buddha. Yes, it is. But we also have the path which leads to happiness. So that's what we should be teaching. Of course, if you don't see the suffering everywhere, you don't turn away from this life. You don't turn away. The turning away. Perhaps now I'm going into off the topic a little bit. But what is the point of being a Buddhist? What's the ultimate goal? It's not reaching ultimate happiness, obviously. We are reaching more and more happiness. The more and more refined happiness, we are more and more able to let go. And the letting go happens when you're turning away from this. If there was no suffering here, the turning away would not happen. Of course there's suffering everywhere. Everywhere you look, in your mind, outside world, everything is suffering. But we are less and less attached to that suffering. We hold it lighter and lighter. And when we are turning away from that suffering, we suffer less. The active doing really doesn't work that well all the way because it's you who's doing something. That's why you should not even buy into that story too much. Don't go into that all the way. These are the reasons. These are the way I get these things which make me unhappy in my mind. Don't go that far. Most of you do. That's what you do. Then you apply kindness again, and then hopefully that erases those things a little bit. The best thing is not to even hold it at all. Then you apply kindness. Then you go to the root causes. I think there's 4 stages. The last stage what the Buddha said, and this is honestly the worst. The Buddha gave a simile. The 4th one is you bite your teeth together, grind them, hold down, crush your mind with mind, and crush those thoughts in your mind, and then your mind becomes still. Doesn't work that well, but a lot of people do that. You crush your mind with mind. You sit quietly and you're fuming there. Meditation. Fuming meditation. We don't teach that, but a lot of people seem to do that. The best thing is don't believe it. Don't buy into that story of yours. Then second best, apply kindness. Then go a little bit deeper. If that doesn't just apply, then you go and see the causes. What is causing this? Now you apply more and more thinking. And then the worst thing is crush your mind with mind almost. It doesn't really work. Sometimes it works in the beginning a little bit. But there's always, we teach, every teacher, I think, any tradition we come from Buddhist, we teach the same things. And sometimes people are like, why? What's the cause? Why? We forgot to teach the root causes, perhaps. Why are we teaching the same things? So going to the topic, if not me, then who? If you don't walk the path, who is it going to do? Who's going to do this for you? It's not your family doing it for you. Maybe it's your dog helping a little bit along the way because you learn the kindness from the dogs. But I just recently, I was looking through the books here in the library here, and there was a little book from Ajahn Chah, and there was a nice quote from Ajahn Chah was there that a lot of people say there cannot be water in the ground. You just walk around and say, no, there's no water in the ground. That's crazy. Who would think there's water in the ground? These are the people who never dug a well. Sure, if you dig a well, you don't just take one shovelful, chuck it away, and it's like, yep, I told you, there's no water. A lot of people do that. You need to apply effort, constant effort. Every little thing matters. Every mind moment matters. I feel insecure. Be kind towards that. Don't believe it first. It's difficult. Okay? If you do, if it sucked you in, keep applying kindness. There's nothing really which makes you that you should be holding into that feeling of insecurity, which is holding you back. But quite often, those little hooks, those things are something we want to hold on to. Then you keep taking more shovelfuls. Keep digging, and you keep going deeper and deeper. And there's other people helping you. We have Buddhist fellowship. We have monks inspiring you. Yeah, keep digging. Oh, be right. Sure, it's hard in the beginning. The ground is hard. You have a hard crust, but it gets softer. Once you go deep, keep digging, it gets softer. And the good thing is, you can see other people who've been doing it. And for me, I think really the proof of the Buddhing is I see in my own life. Like I said, I really don't like giving talks. It's not what I prefer. I have to do it, and I can do it. It's something you get used to and all that. But I have a lot of insecurity. I have a lot of anxiety coming when I have to give a talk. But I have to give it. I have to do it. I'm part of the Sangha now. So I just do it. If not me, then who? And then when you do it, and you see the water there, and you start believing, well, for a whole day I didn't have any doubt. That's really nice. That's really proof in the Buddhing. For a whole day I woke up in the morning, and I walked back to my kuti in the evening, and I noticed, whole day I didn't have any doubt. Because I didn't hold into it. How nice is that? And that's when you see the water flowing there. at least you see a little bit. And then you see somebody who's really further in the path, like Ajahn Brahm. And you say, wow, they can tell you there is a lot of water there. In there, if you just keep at it. The worst thing is to say, I'm just going to stop. It doesn't seem to work. I'm different. My mind is different from others. No, it's not. We all have those things. Your mind is not different. Even if you're Malaysian, Singaporean, Finn. I was just coming back from Finland. A lot of people complain, I can't meditate. I say, yeah, okay, fair enough. Can you relax? We're all the same. We all have those things. If you don't do it, who not? Who will do it for you? Just keep digging, keep listening to the Dhamma, and hopefully that will inspire you. That's the first thing on the path. Inspiration. You don't really have to do that much. That's the good thing about Buddhism. Just keep going. And that's the talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Then we go for the questions. I'm sorry I got emotional. It just happened.
Any questions?
Sorry, Ajahn. Yep. A bit numb. Okay. Thank you, Ajahn, for the talk. It's very inspiring.
Very good.
Just wanted to ask, because you mentioned about if not me, then who, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking, how is it that I am enforcing my own, perhaps you can say ego or my identity to say that, I can do the job. I'm confident enough that I can do a job, even though, I might feel insecure, but I should do it. But I'm also thinking that, am I, too self-confident to say I can do the job? Or maybe I should let someone else do it?
Right. The problem is, I think, is you just have to try things. You just do something. You do it. It's like, okay, I feel confident I could do it. And even if you don't, your mind keeps telling you, like, no, I don't think I can do it. Don't buy into it too much. Okay, if you go somewhere and you really feel honestly that it's not working out, well, don't have too much of an ego either that you can just sort of back up from that. Once we start holding on into anything, even for me, these building projects I've been part of many years, and if I start owning those things, or I kind of fail because it's my ego, then it's going to hurt a lot. But if you hold anything very lightly, okay, I do my best of my effort, and when you do, whatever you do with the best of your effort, with kindness, whatever the result is, it's fine. If it works out fine, then it's good. Just plus, plus, plus. If it doesn't work out fine, well, I put best effort. I think we don't have enough people in leadership which are not overtly confident. I think we need more people in the top positions which are not outwardly so they can do anything. I think there's too many people in the top positions everywhere, in the work sites or in a government, who are these people who don't have insecurities. I think we need more people like that. Because if you are a person who's like, oh, yeah, I do it, but I just do it because I try my best, but I don't feel super confident. I think it's better, and I think people can trust us more because we're more human. But just keep at it. I'm sure. I think okay. I started to talk about from the CEO of IBM, and I think the reason was I was just inspired. We don't have a lot of women in the top positions. So it's nice to encourage each other. Just do it. Just don't worry about it. It's like, okay, you might not be the best exactly. That's what you're thinking, but it doesn't matter. If not you, well, I'm sure there's going to be others taking, but you just try your best as well.
Good evening.
Mellow?
I just wanted to ask if you could share some tips on practicing loving kindness towards yourself. I think sometimes when when your account is so in debt, you feel like you want to just declare bankruptcy because it feels so much easier than paying the debt little by little by little. So do you have any advice for these situations?
I think it's like anything, you just have to keep digging. Okay, it doesn't seem to be working at the moment, but what choice do you have? If you don't keep applying the kindness, then it won't work. That's for sure. If you don't keep meditating, if you don't keep coming to the Buddhist side, well, that's definitely given. You're not going to work on it. It's not going to work. I think the key thing is really, at least what I've noticed in my own life, and is to keep applying it to the every little, just remind yourself everywhere you have to keep at it. Everywhere in your mind, whether it's the smallest little doubt, or it's like you're brushing your teeth and you look at your face and it's like, I don't like what I look. Look, give kindness to that perception. Give kindness to the doubt. Give kindness everywhere. Just smile. Don't believe it too much, and apply the kindness into that little space what it creates. Creates that. At least you try to create a little space between you. Don't be too much involved in that TV drama you're playing in your head. As long as you have a tiny little space between there, you can apply the kindness in there. You see yourself, it's like, I don't like what I look. I don't have to believe that. Don't believe that perception. Apply kindness there. Create little spaces there between you and that whatever story you're telling yourself. And then apply kindness everywhere. Everywhere, 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 all the time. You forget, and you won't be able to do it all the time, but once in a while it comes to you, and it becomes a little bit of like a habit. And then one day you notice that you manage to do it, and you don't have it, whatever you're carrying with you, it's not so strong. And it comes back, you forget, and then you remind yourself, oh, I forgot now. So the best thing is not to do anything, but the second best is to have a little space, apply kindness into it, and then it quiets your mind. The one thing is to, quite often when you're deep in there, when you're deep into that swamp of doubt or guilt or anger, whatever, metta doesn't work either. It doesn't work. You're too invested, you're too deep in there, you're too stuck. Learn the metta when your mind is already calm and when you're happy. That's when you need to learn it, if it doesn't work. So you need to put it into your mind that when I'm happy, then I need to practice this. Instead of distracting yourself, let the good times roll, and sun is shining, you just go and do a lot of distracting things. Then you need to look inside when those happy, sunny days are there. Look inside and apply kindness, because then it works. Then you can do it. Don't feel guilty about it. Everything is going well. Now I should apply kindness. Now I really uplift myself. I'm a good person. Everything is going well. Nothing wrong. Then you learn that little bit. And then when then the doubt comes again next morning when you wake up and you look at yourself like, oh, I'm not sure. At least you did it yesterday, and it comes back to you. So the money goes into the bank, at least in the beginning. You need to put it into good times, when it's easy, when the life is good. Then you do kindness. And then you keep applying it into that space when you have those low moments when you don't like yourself, or whatever it is. And then it grows and grows and grows. Yeah. I don't think it's on. You have to put it from the bottom or the side. Or I think it's the bottom.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ajahn, for the talk. I guess I have a similar question on how do we exactly operationalize kindness in times where the minds ruminate about insecurity or doubt. But I gather a bit from your response just now. Is it along the line that we can change the narration or give ourselves a pat on the back? Exactly how do we work on ourselves at that moment? Because it gets too overwhelming, and
it's a bit too late then. Then you do. When you're there, it's too late. You try not to go that far. It's really difficult to apply contentment or that I was like, I'm okay, all those things. It's good to do that. You lessen the impact perhaps, but we really try not to even go there. When you get sucked into that, when you're too deep, you don't see clearly. For example, the Buddha said when you're an angry person, you're like crazy. You just completely lost your ability to think when you're angry. You cannot then, if you're a crazy person, you don't have wisdom. The wisdom goes out of the door. Anger and wisdom don't go hand in hand. The same thing, even whether it's doubt or I just use the doubt because of I have it. You're too deep in there. Once you believe really into that story, all the other reasoning goes out of the window. It's too painful. We hold it too dearly. This is like, oh, this is my story. This is me. This is who I am. This belongs to me. Oh, we forgot. Oh, no, actually it's not. We don't have to. We can just put it down. But we cannot. We're too vested in that story. So when you're happy, then don't apply the kindness then. And then when it starts to come, every low mind moments, then you apply kindness, then it's easy. But when you're too deep, it's difficult. It really is difficult. It's hard to have a kind mind when the mind have all those things, whatever your mind tends to tell you. Yeah. I think one of the things why we practice meditation, why we practice mindfulness is we start having those little gaps here and there. Otherwise, we don't even notice them. We never have little gaps where we can put the kindness into. The mind is too busy we in that TV drama all the time. There's no commercials. There's no break where you can just slot in little kindness package there. Yep.
Thank you for the talk. Can I ask, as a person who deals with anxiety herself and has to give talks and take up leadership positions in my little Buddhist group, how do you deal with anxiety yourself? And yeah, that's
Well, how do I deal with it? I don't deal with it. You just have to believe that once you start doing something, it comes out okay. If you have enough practice, and it does get easier if you keep giving these talks, and you trust on other people's kindness. You look how the kindness around you, so it sort of uplifts your mind. I think that's a big thing for a lot of us. You get the gratitude from helping others, so you count all the gifts you get in that sense, all the gratitude you get, people thanking you and all that. So that's how I deal with it. You just you do the work before you start giving, and then when the time to talk, you're just like, okay, well, I really don't want to do that. Don't give the talk, and who knows, but you just said like, well, okay, do the best, and people liked them before, and you contemplate the good things people have told you before, and the good feeling you get by giving from before, and all those things, so they just come to your mind. So how do I deal? Yeah, that's the how you deal with it, I think.
Thank you.
I think that's the important thing, is to really be kind towards people who teach. So I think you forget, a lot of people just walk out, and then they forgot that the teacher had to put a lot of effort talking. Talking is quite intensive.
Or don't think too much.
Hi Ajahn, thank you for the talk.
Yeah.
You mentioned to apply love and kindness and stop thinking, but does applying love and kindness equates to stop thinking? And my second question is, can you give us some examples on how to apply love and kindness? Thank you.
Okay, well, does it stop thinking? Well, that's why the Buddha thought. I mean, the Buddha said the word is, it stills the mind, and so all of these, what the Buddha was teaching, really applies into meditation in the sense that the mind is calm, and then the mind goes into the deep meditations. So that's why the Buddha taught these things. We are more in a level now where we just starting point. But it does take you all the way to the calmness of the mind, and then you start seeing the breath, and from the breath you start seeing the nimitta, from the nimitta you fall into the jhanas. So it takes you all the way from jhanas, then you keep applying that and you get enlightened. Sure. All of these things, when applied correctly, lead into stillness of the mind, samadhi. But in day-to-day thing, like I said, look, you have to. I think honestly, the best thing, what I've noticed for myself, what works is not to believe into that story too much. Once you start seeing that, like, okay, I'm telling this story again. This is my, I don't know what's the favorite drama TV show here, but in Singapore, but whatever people watch these drama shows, this is my drama. I'm living this again. The tiniest thing, you brush your teeth in the morning, you look at yourself, and you know. Yeah, well, don't believe into it. Just smile. Just smile. Just smile at the idea of you judging yourself. That's really actually, even that physical activity of smiling, it does make it easier. When you just see that story, oh, yep. Right, yeah. That's kindness, really is. When it's, I think it's, we forget, and whatever we should be doing, whatever we do it with the mind which is willing to let go. That's what the Buddha was teaching. The mind which is willing to let go. And mind which is happy is easy to let go. Mind which is calm, it's just, oh, yeah, well, and it calms the mind. That's the point of it. So always trying to like, oh, I don't need to hold on to the story. I don't need to hold into this idea of myself. But it's hard to just let it go. It's really hard. So you need to keep applying that kindness. Smile at your storyline. Smile at your face physically. And that's at least for me, it's worked.
Sorry, can I just have a follow-up question? What if the story is not a story but a fact? For example, I may feel that, oh, my boss don't like me. Okay, and that is a story that I'm playing in my head. But when I enter the office, he really gives me a good scolding. How then I tell myself that this is a story when it has already become a fact in reality?
Yeah, well, you're too deep in there. Yeah, you're deep in the swamp. You believe your boss is really also, and you believe the story of hers, and your perception now has taken over. It's hard. It's hard. It's you're too deep in there. Absolutely. And then the samsara keeps giving us a new. It's like there is no ultimately way of figuring this out. We just have to have applied the best of our abilities to a point where you come to a meditation when it really works, and then you'll be able to let go to a deep level. Until then, you're almost putting out, like there's a forest fire going on. Everything is suffering. Yeah, we know, but I just keep stamping down these little fires. But honestly, that's the best you can do. You won't be able to, have the fire go out until you have a very cool meditation. Then the forest fire goes out. Until then, you're in trouble.
Thank you.
Give him or her loving kindness before you go enter the sea of
Well,
loss.
look, I mean, there's other teachings, and we teach this all the time. You believe that this person is a real person and all that. It goes into that. When you have deeper meditations, you start seeing that the person is made out of this cause and conditions. You don't believe into that. There's multiple teachings like that, but I don't want to go there too deeply now. But it ultimately goes down into your meditation to start seeing things clearly, and that's really what enables for you the anger doesn't come back anymore. The anger comes from your perceptions, your own. It's not the other person's fault. Unfortunately, it's your fault because you believed into that story. It's that trigger in your own mind. But sometimes I teach this, like if there's a strong personal clash, you can start doing death contemplation with that person. And that's the quite drastic way, but sometimes it works. You see that person dead. You see that person, this person will also die. This person will get sick, this person will get old, this person will also die. Why do I get angry at the dying person? You try to develop more compassion. So if there's a really, really strong case like that, then you see, they are just following their karma. There's nothing they can do. They're just following what their cause and conditions are in their life also. And they will also die. And they have to inherit the karma they have. So that's why somebody like Buddha could only have compassion towards everybody.
Okay, any last question? No?
No, going.
Okay,
Gone.
maybe Ajahn can share merits and
Oh yeah,
blessing.
sure. Do you do the imina punya kamena? Oh, 𝐸𝐻𝑒𝑚. Okay. 𝐸𝐻𝑒𝑚 sampadam punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya 𝐸𝐻𝑒𝑚 sampadam punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya 𝐸𝐻𝑒𝑚 sampadam punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Idang me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.